Mr. President, allow me at the outset to thank you for convening this open debate at this critical time. And let me thank Mr. Al-Akbarov for his briefing and his efforts. Mr. President, Palestinians continue being killed daily in bombardments in Gaza, in attacks by settlers and occupation forces in the West Bank. Killed as they sleep, as they tend to their groves, as they head to school, as they sit in their homes. Killed as if their lives never mattered, as if they were expendable, and they will continue being killed until those killing them are held accountable. Those who storm their towns, their villages, their homes, their lives, holding weapons and aiming it at them, want to hold our people responsible for the death that ensues. Their death and the death of those attacking them who should not have been there in the first place. And as if that was not enough, the Israeli Prime Minister's conclusion is that the answer is more colonization, more dispossession, more displacement, more violence. At a time where the situation in Gaza requires the full attention of the international community to stop the bloodshed and address the tremendous human suffering of our people and implement the resolutions of this Council, as we have heard today, Israel is seeking escalation in the West Bank. Whether to justify further repression, to facilitate annexation and displacement, or for electoral purposes. Yes, confronted with the prospects of losing the upcoming election, Netanyahu is seeking electoral gains on the blood of Palestinians and even Israelis. This requires a strong international response before it is too late, as impunity is the reason for the persistence and escalation of these crimes. Mr. President, for years now, we have warned of settlers' violence, with the backing of Israeli occupation forces as an integral part of the Israeli strategy to annex maximum Palestinian land with minimum Palestinians. Some measures were taken, but in no way commensurate with the threat this terror represents against hundreds of Palestinian communities. The Israeli officials pay some lip service when the actions are too outrageous while continuing to create the conditions for their commission. Nothing was done by Israel to stop this violence. On the contrary, everything was done to fuel it. So it is the Israeli government that must be considered responsible for it, at par with the settlers committing it, with the support of the Israeli occupation forces. For those trying to disseminate fake news and alternative realities, there are numerous videos online of settlers' attacks across the West Bank, from those armed with automatic weapons to adolescents with sticks beating people, to those setting fire in houses and properties. There are videos of them doing all this while shouting insults and racist slurs and chanting, "Death to Arabs, death to Arabs." The videos of the attacks by Israeli settlers at Tal village show them surrounding unarmed Palestinian civilians, holding them at gunpoint and threatening to shoot them. A Tal village is south of Nablus, as was, indicated by Mr. Al-Akbarov. And too many times before that threat was followed by actions to be taken lightly. The tales about hikers wandering around in the hills is ridiculous. The settlers came with one objective in mind: terrorizing the population to uproot it. One provocation after another, one murder after another. Our people are entitled to international protection. I repeat, our people are entitled to international protection in the face of these repeated assaults, especially when asked not to respond to violence by violence, even as self-defense. When the occupying power, which is responsible for providing protection for the civilian population under occupation in accordance with international humanitarian law, the occupying power is abdicating its responsibility. Therefore, it is the responsibility of the international community to provide our people with protection. This Council and the General Assembly have adopted resolutions calling for such protection, but it is nowhere to be found. Israeli settlers must be disarmed, I repeat, must be disarmed, as this Council's resolutions state, to stop them from terrorizing our people. Action is needed. They need to be disarmed. And Israeli settlers and occupation forces have to leave our land and leave us alone. We don't want to see anyone killed. We want our people to live in freedom and dignity in their land. We want the occupation to end and peace to prevail. Mr. President, Jerusalem holds a diverse and rich history that was preserved over centuries thanks to the respect for the historic status quo. The images of Israeli extremists, officials, soldiers, and settlers storming Al-Haram al-Sharif are the definition of provocation and incitement, fueling dangerous tensions. This is an integral part of the scorched earth policy, aiming to inflame tensions in the hope that the fire can be insurmountable and instrumentalized. A short-sighted and irresponsible approach. Mr. President, the resolutions of this Council are unequivocal in opposing annexation and forcible displacement. So why are they still ongoing? There are upcoming elections in Palestine and in Israel. What signal will the international community send? We have on one side a Palestinian government committed to nonviolence and peace, and on the other side an Israeli government unleashing brutal violence and committed to annexation. That question can only be resolved with strong international mobilization. To uphold international law and empower those seeking peace and restraining those who seek to destroy any such prospects. Let me repeat, to uphold international law and empower those seeking peace and restraining those who seek to destroy any such prospect. There is nothing to wait for and everything to act for, to show we are not doomed to repeat history over and over again, and that a different path is possible. The Council has responsibilities. States have obligations. They can ensure the parties uphold theirs. That any upcoming government understands that Palestinian land is not for grab and Palestinian lives are not expendable, and Palestinian rights have to be recognized and respected. that violence is a dead end, a cycle that will consume everything around it, that the time for peace is right now, no more delays or excuses, that no one is entitled to negotiate or destroy the other, or destroy the other. No one is entitled to negate or destroy the other. Many lives would have been saved had this been done a long time ago. Many lives hanging in the balance today. No more delays, no more excuses. Thank you very much, Mr. President.